let's put the spotlight on NMDC then, because we are being joined by the management of the company. Mr. Amitava Mukherjee, who is the CMD of NMDC, is joining us. Hi, very good afternoon, Mr. Mukherjee, and thank you so much for your time. Firstly, after earnings, I wanted to understand on the realizations, because indeed there has been a rise in the realization, but believe that it was offset by the lower volumes in the quarter gone by. In fact, the employee strike for the wage hikes also impacted your volumes. But is the worst behind us? What makes you confident of achieving that 50 MTPA production volumes guidance for FY25?
Definitely the worst is behind us. The monsoons are receding, hopefully. It was not only the strike that really affected our production in Q1, but also the early and intense monsoon. Even in July, I think we had one of the worst monsoons in the last 60 years. It was 245 millimeter of rainfall in 2.5 hours, which led to flooding of a few of our mine areas. Hopefully, the worst is behind us. We are at a deficit about 1.3 to 1.5 million ton in terms of production. This, our internal calculations are that we will be able to make good by around 13th to 15th of October. We will be able to catch up with the last year's production numbers, and thereafter we have another half year to exceed that and reach around 50. So we are very confident that we will reach 50, especially on two accounts. One is that the Kumaraswamy mine, we have now a clearance of 8.6 million ton instead of 7 million ton. So that's a straight gain of 1.6 million ton. And even in Bacheli, we have this 2 million ton extra facility that which we commissioned at the fag end of last year. So I think the benefit of that will also come in. And we are very confident that our production figures will reach 50 million ton in this financial year. So far as sales is concerned, we are still neck to neck, because our dispatches have been rather robust lately. And despite the problems of monsoons and the disruption due to employee issues, we are still, as of now, neck to neck. We have been able to open 2 manual sidings this year, for which the benefit would be at least 3 to 4 million ton from these 2 sidings. So we are very confident of reaching both sales and production target around 50 million ton this year.
Thank you so much for that. But also, Mr. Mukherjee, we believe that your employee wages have been revised upwards. So wanted to have more sense on that. How much was that? And how is that expected to impact your overall margins? How much impact could we see on the overall number?
I think the impact, we are already providing for this impact for the last 1.5, 2 years in our books of accounts. So I think the overall impact is somewhere around 90 crores annually. So, but this was being provided for in last year's finances books as well, and the first quarter books as well.
All right, but also, Mr. Mukherjee, what about pricing? Because NMDC has taken 2 price cuts in Q2 so far, and given that the global prices continue to remain soft, should we expect a round of a price cuts yet again? What's the sense there?
Yeah, unfortunately, we had to take 2 price cuts successively, and there were substantial price cuts of 500 rupees each almost. I would like to believe that we have bottomed out. Things should look better in future. We are fervently hoping that things would be better in the future. Demand as of now looks fairly stable, and we hope that the worst is behind us. And in terms of pricing, we have bottomed out, and things can only look brighter from here on. But we'll have to wait and see. As of now, our demand is fairly stable and robust, so we don't have a concern on that. So as of now, we don't see an immediate need for a further price cut.
All right, so you do believe that the iron prices have bottomed out, but Mr. Mukherjee, how is that expected to impact your realizations? How much are they expected to fall in Q2 itself from rupees 5,304 per metric ton in Q1?
It will be about 1,000 rupees less as compared to the first quarter. The first quarter average realization was around 5,300 rupees. It should fall back by around, if we take the bonus penalty, by around 900 rupees approximately. So that should be around 4,500. If we are unable to take further price rises, as of now, the situation is that if we are unable to take further price rises, then the Q2 figures would hover around 4,500 mark to 4,600 mark on average realization basis.
All right, thanks for giving us a sense there. But also, Mr. Mukherjee, the Supreme Court recently permitted states to demand the tax retrospectively. We believe that NMDC has taken an undertaking from the customers on passing through of any cess. Is that correct? And does this mean that the impact of the Supreme Court ruling on the financials will be limited?
Yes, we expect the net effect on financials of NMDC would be rather limited on this account. Our pricing is very, very clear. We don't need to take an undertaking for that. Our pricing is very, very clear that as of now, only royalty, DMF, and NMT is included in prices. Rest, all taxes and duties are actually recoverable and are being recovered separately and remitted. For example, even in Chhattisgarh, we are recovering the forest transit fees and others from our customer and remitting it. So, so far as a specific case is concerned, out of this 81 cases, one case is ours, which was 24 crores of liability regarding Panna diamond mine in Madhya Pradesh. So that is this very specific liability that we have related to this judgment. However, we have parallel cases which has to be decided separately. But if this principle is carried on to those cases in terms of Karnataka and in terms of both Chhattisgarh, I think in Chhattisgarh the exposure is only 144 crores, for which payment has already been made but not yet accounted for. It is still under dispute. We have paid it under protest, so it is not yet accounted for. In Karnataka, there was a period where we have recovered. When the monitoring committee was there was a period which was recovered and then remitted to the government of Karnataka over and above our prices. So if you see, the net would be very meager. Why? Because our customer base, both in Karnataka and in Chhattisgarh, over the years have been rather stable. There's not much customers who were customers then and not customers now. That's very, very few and far between. So I think our net effect to our company would be rather marginal.
All right, and lastly, Mr. Mukherjee, as far as the steel plant ramp-up is concerned, the monthly steel production run rate stands at around 120 kilotons. When is that expected to break even, and how much will the margins expand by after it break evens?
Steel plant, we are just on the threshold of breaking even. On a monthly, if we talk in terms of monthly production and sales, we need about 150,000 production and sales. We are already at around 130,000, 135,000. 2 months we have done it. In fact, day before yesterday was the highest production of more than 7,000 tons of hot metals and 6,800 tons of coils, HR coils. So we are just marginally below our break-even point on a month-on-month basis. Hopefully next month onwards, we will be able to dispatch and then produce 150,000. We are in, I think, July, there was a problem because of non-availability of rakes and we had taken some plant shutdown. But in the month of May, we had reached around 135,000 tons in Nagarnar. So this month in August, we hope to replicate that and maybe exceed that. So we are almost on the threshold of breaking even. A few couple of months of intense monitoring, and I think we will break even. We are very close to it in Nagarnar.
All right, Mr. Mukherjee, with this, we'll let you go on that. Thank you so much for taking the time out and talking to us on what all is happening with NMDC right now. So you were listening to the management of NMDC, wherein he just gave us very good takeaways in terms of the matter of time before the steel plant breaks even. They do believe that the iron ore prices have bottomed out and the demand is fairly stable on ground. So that was the management of NMDC, the stock holding almost flat right now. But with this, viewers, it's
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.